horses on New Year's Eve, walking down my Brooklyn street. And I saw fireworks in your eyes. I was falling, falling, falling 1 year ago at this time. Now I'm trying, trying, trying to get back my mind. I'll take my photographs, wrap them in bubble wrap. I'm leaving for the weekend, or maybe for the year. I'll secure all my edges, all the fragile remarks that were taken the wrong way, before I go leaving for the year. Taken the wrong way.
So a few videos back I installed these LED backup lights, and they did help a little bit, but nowhere near enough. When you try to back this thing up at night, it's really, really difficult to see where you're going. I've had a few times when I had to actually get out of the bus, you know, and check and then inch it back a little bit, and that just, it's not fun. So anyway, I got these. These are big 55 watt bulbs, and they have made quite a big difference. So let's take a look at how I put these in. These babies are bright. I got 2 of them. And I've got this really long drill bit and a drill guide to keep her straight, and I drilled a pilot hole up there. And so now I'm going to drill this guy. It's going to go all the way through to the inside. Bolt? That's not a bolt. Now this is a bolt. Before I do that, I'm going to put some of this in there. Let's see if I can get a shot of this. Put some of that in there. It's butyl, I think. It's RV sealant. Developed for recreational vehicles. So I'm told you don't want to use silicone, you do want to use this. So I don't know, but that's what I'm told. So, and you see I drilled another hole for the wire to go through. And I poked a string through there. Tape the string to the wire. I'll pull the string through. And you see what here, I got a grommet. This rubber thing that fits into the hole. It's important to use that so the wire won't rub against the metal there and short out. And then I'm going to put some of that caulking in there, make it waterproof. There they are in place. Now I need to wire the inside here. So I think I'm going to try and tie it in. See, there's the wire coming through there. I'm going to try and tie it into my existing light fixtures. I think that's going to work. And then run a conduit across there to connect them. And then the wire from the battery is going to come up through here where I ran the backup light, or the backup camera. So here's a tip for removing an electrical knockout from the back. See, this knockout here I want to take out, but normally I would just take a hammered screwdriver and tap it from the outside, but I can't get to it from the outside. So I discovered a easy way of dealing with that. So just take a nut that's smaller than the knockout itself. Alright, so I'm going to take this nut and put it behind, and then my lineman's pliers. And then I'm just going to kind of rock this back and forth there, see? And now I can stick my screwdriver in there like this and pull it out, use these and wiggle it till it breaks. Back when I was in high school, I was 16 years old and I had a kind of a hippie van. So I guess I'm carrying on the tradition. Anyway, the point being that it had a backup light similar to what I just installed It was activated from a switch on the dash. The guy that sold it to me said one day he lent the van to a friend of his, and his friend inadvertently switched on that backup light, not knowing what it was. And it didn't take very long before the police pulled him over and gave him a ticket, and they actually made him disconnect the light, and unfortunately he didn't have any tools, so he had to actually just rip the wires out. And when I bought the van, that was one of the things that needed to be fixed, was reinstalling that backup light. So anyway, let me show you what I've done to try and prevent a similar situation happening here. So check this out. I thought this was pretty cool. This is a switch. It's called a missile switch or something, or a safety switch. But the way it works is you have to flip this up before you can flip the switch on. So that's going to prevent me from doing this by accident when I'm driving down the road. And then I put this blinking warning light on when the backup lights are on. And between the two of those, I'm hoping that that's not going to get turned on by accident, because that's not only a safety hazard, that's a beacon asking every cop on the road to pull you over and give you a ticket if you have that thing running on when you're driving down at night. The switch comes down to this relay down here, and I'm going to put the relay in that box to protect it. But this is, if you don't know what a relay is, it's just a magnetic switch, and it allows me to use a much thinner gauge wire to go up to the switch and back than is required to power the load. My backup lights are two 55 watt, so that's 110 watts. And so I've got an 8 gauge wire here running directly from the battery to the relay, and then the other side of the 8 gauge wire right here runs back to the backup lights. And then the green wire is a ground. These two thin wires go up to that switch and back. Here's the schematic. So the load is 30 and 87, and when you flip the switch, and there's an electromagnet there that pulls the switch down, it makes contact. Alright, there it is, all zip tied in place, nice and solid. And the conduit comes up through here in my pump house, so to speak. That's where my water pump is, inside here also. And the wire goes up behind that molding there on the window, goes up behind that molding on the window there, and up into these existing light boxes here. And some of the wires showing there, I'm going to do something about that. I'm not sure. I'm going to eventually put a piece of molding or something to cover that. And this ugly bolt here, nut and bolt holding the backup lights on. Anyway, these I had these existing boxes for the light fixture, so I made the connections in there, ran this to the other side, and that's how it works. Okay, let's check it out. Here's nothing. Here are the wimpy ones that I had before, and here are the new ones. Quite a difference, huh?
Mm-hmm.